Jeep shoppers, stop. Before you hand over $1, before you sign anything, before you even schedule a test drive on any used Jeep Wrangler you are seriously considering, watch this video first. Because the used Wrangler market is not like the used market for any other vehicle. The Jeep Wrangler is the most modified vehicle in the American used car market. It is the vehicle most likely to have been taken places and done things the seller is not volunteering. It is the vehicle with the most generation-specific failure modes, the most recall history, and the most documented cases of previous owner neglect producing damage that is invisible on a casual inspection and expensive to discover after the purchase is complete. Today we are going through the 5 things every used Jeep Wrangler buyer needs to check in person before any money changes hands, regardless of year, trim, mileage, or how good the listing photos look. Every one of these checks has saved buyers from expensive mistakes. Every one of them is something a motivated seller is hoping you skip. Let's get into it. Check number 1, the frame and undercarriage. The check that matters most, and the one most buyers either skip entirely or perform too casually to catch what is actually there. Crawl underneath the Jeep to look for signs of oil leaks, rust, and damage to the frame. Pay special attention to the skid plates, transfer case, and differential covers. Look at the rear axle, brake lines, and fuel lines for corrosion. Any oil stains, leaks, or heavy rust on the body or frame are red flags that could point to bigger problems. Get the Wrangler on a lift if at all possible. A pre-purchase inspection at an independent shop is the single most valuable $60 you can spend before buying any used Wrangler. If a lift is not available, get on the ground with a flashlight and look at every frame rail, every crossmember, every suspension mounting point, and every inch of brake and fuel lines from front to rear. Second-generation JK Wranglers from 2007 through 2018 have a documented frame rust history, serious enough that Toyota issued frame inspection programs, and in some cases, extended warranty coverage. Any JK from a salt belt state needs an undercarriage inspection that goes well beyond a quick glance. What you are looking for specifically. Surface rust that has not penetrated the metal is a cosmetic concern. Rust that has pitted the metal, eliminated material from the frame rail cross-section, or progressed into the weld seams at suspension mounting points is a structural concern that changes the vehicle's safety and repair cost profile completely. Bubbling paint over a frame rail is almost always rust progressing beneath the surface. Do not accept the seller's assurance that it is just surface rust without verifying it yourself. Inspect the differential covers. Dents, gouges, and scrapes tell you the vehicle has contacted terrain. That contact is not necessarily a problem. Wranglers are built for it. But the severity of those contacts, and whether any differential cover damage was accompanied by internal differential damage, is information you want before you buy. Check number 2, the modification history, and what it actually means. Bigger tires and lift kits can look great, but they change how a Wrangler handles. Older models such as the Wrangler TJ and JK are often modified with oversized tires that strain the stock steering components, coil springs, and ball joints. A modified Wrangler is not automatically a bad Wrangler. Modifications done correctly with quality components are a legitimate part of Wrangler ownership culture. But a modified Wrangler requires a different inspection approach than a stock one, because the modifications change what wears, how it wears, and what the current condition says about remaining service life. The specific questions to ask. What lift kit is installed, and who installed it? A quality lift at a reputable shop with alignment documentation is very different from a bargain kit installed in a driveway. What tire size is running, and does the axle gearing match? Oversized tires without re-gearing create drivetrain stress that accumulates with every mile. Were the upper ball joints inspected and replaced before the lift was installed? Ball joints that were approaching end of service before the lift went on are now operating at the extreme of their movement range and failing sooner than they would have at stock height. Any significantly modified Wrangler you are seriously considering should be inspected on a lift by a shop that works on Jeeps regularly, not a general mechanic who primarily services sedans, but someone who knows what worn ball joints, binding end links, and stressed suspension geometry look like on a lifted application. Check number 3, the death wobble test. Most buyers either do not know to perform this check or feel too awkward to insist on it during a test drive. Do it anyway. The death wobble on a Jeep Wrangler is one of the most distinctive and alarming symptoms in the used vehicle market, and a Wrangler with active death wobble needs immediate front-end attention before it is safe at highway speeds. During your test drive, make sure the vehicle tracks straight, the steering feels responsive, and there is no wobble or vibration at highway speeds. The death wobble is not subtle. It is a violent oscillation of the steering wheel and front end that typically initiates when the front tires hit a bump at highway speed, severe enough that first-time victims pull over thinking a wheel has come loose. It is caused not by a single worn component, but by a combination: the track bar, tie rod ends, ball joints, and steering stabilizer all approaching end of service, and collectively producing the resonance that causes the oscillation. Find a road with rough pavement or concrete expansion joints, and drive it at 55 to 65 miles per hour. Look specifically for any steering wheel vibration initiating from road surface imperfections. A full death wobble event that requires active fighting of the steering wheel to maintain direction is a pre-purchase deal breaker, unless the purchase price reflects the cost of a complete front-end rebuild, which on a Wrangler runs $1,500 to $3,000. A seller who will not allow highway speed testing on a rough surface is a seller who knows something about the front end that you need to know before they do. Check number 4, the recall status and generation-specific issues. Every used Wrangler purchase should include a VIN check against the N, HTS, a recall database at safercar.gov before any money changes hands. Not after, before. The recall check takes 5 minutes and it is non-negotiable on any Wrangler, given the recall history across multiple generations. Used buyers should exercise significant caution on any 4xe from 2020 through 2023, and at minimum confirm recall completion on any 4xe in the 2020 through 2025 range. The 4xe specifically: the high voltage battery fire risk recall, covering hundreds of thousands of plug-in hybrid Jeep vehicles, makes driving an unrepaired example a genuine safety risk. Any 4xe you are considering needs all outstanding recall work confirmed as completed before purchase. Get documentation of the completion, not the seller's word. Documentation. For the 6-speed manual, JL, in 2018 through 2023, Wranglers equipped with the 6-speed manual, friction-induced overheating can cause the clutch pressure plate to fracture. When it fails, it can drip oil onto hot exhaust components. Confirm this has been addressed on any manual JL you consider. For JK models, the TIPM electrical module that controls windows, wipers, and the starter generated more owner complaints than almost any other single component in the JK's production history. A JK with an unaddressed TIPM issue presents electrical gremlins that are intermittent, frustrating, and expensive to diagnose without knowing the root cause. Check the VIN. Confirm every open recall is addressed. Get documentation before signing anything. Check number 5, the water and off-road damage inspection. The check that catches damage most used Wrangler listings are specifically composed to obscure. Because the Wrangler's capability is its selling point, and sellers know that emphasizing trail use history creates value, while the damage trail use produces stays quietly hidden beneath the carpet and behind the door panels. Water intrusion is the most consistently present and most consistently overlooked damage on used Wranglers, driven with the doors off, the roof off, or through water crossings. The removable door design creates gaps that allow water to enter during rain, particularly on older door seals repeatedly removed and reinstalled. Water soaks into the carpet and floor insulation, where it promotes mold and corrodes the floorboard steel from underneath, in ways invisible from inside a clean, detailed cabin. The inspection method: pull back the carpet at the front and rear corners of the cabin floor. Look at the floor material and the metal beneath. Damp carpet, stained carpet, mold smell, or soft floor material that compresses under pressure are all indicators of water intrusion history. A flashlight in 2 minutes catches what a detailed interior is designed to hide. Check the interior drain plugs, the removable plugs in the floor that allow water drainage in extreme conditions. Missing drain plugs signal that the previous owner regularly operated the vehicle in conditions wet enough to require them open. Missing plugs alone are not a deal breaker, but they warrant the full water intrusion inspection. Inspect every electrical connector that the previous owner would have disconnected repeatedly. The door connector pins that unplug when the doors come off. The connectors managing the soft top or hard top electronics on equipped models. Corroded connector pins from repeated water exposure during door-off operation produce the intermittent electrical issues most buyers discover within the first month of ownership rather than before the purchase. 5 checks. 5 things that separate the used Wrangler buyer who gets a truck they are happy with for the next 5 years from the one who spends the first 6 months discovering what the inspection should have caught. The frame and undercarriage. Get under it. Look at every rail and every brake line. The modification history. Understand what was done and whether the supporting components were addressed. The death wobble test at highway speed on rough pavement. Insist on it. The recall status, VI and check before any money changes hands. And the water damage inspection. Pull back the carpet corners, check the drain plugs, inspect every door connector. The right used Wrangler found through these 5 checks is an extraordinary purchase. The wrong one is a lesson in why pre-purchase inspections exist. Save this video before your next Wrangler shopping trip. Share it with everyone you know who is currently in the used Wrangler market. Drop a comment below telling us what year and trim Wrangler you are shopping for right now. Subscribe for more Jeep buying guides and everything you need to make the right call on any Jeep. New video every week. We will see you in the next one.